Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're focusing a little bit more in depth on a very important topic, and that is the experience of a smear campaign. When you have been belittled, when basically you've been snubbed off, you've been ignored, you've been basically given the cold shoulder, the cold chin, no one is giving you a warm embrace. When you have a smear campaign going on in a family, a workplace, or a community, when false or dubious accusations are made against you, your character, or just your overall presence. And realize that this is a method, a ploy for the narcissist to continue to build up fuel in their own fire. Their own fire to be superior to others who are in the room, in the workplace, or in the family. They have narcissistic-itis, ego-itis, whatever it is you want to call it. It is an insatiable need for them to protect themselves by feeling superior than. So even though it's very confusing to a lot of people who don't possess that same drive or desire to control others, to feel better than, to put others down, a lot of people don't have that in their DNA. They don't have that in their personality. They don't need to do that to, when they interact with others, when they're in a social setting. They don't need to feel threatened. They don't feel threatened. They are able to look upon others with fondness and without judgment. Realize that the narcissist or psychopathic individual walks into a setting with judgment in their back pocket. They're looking to who they can intimidate, who they can deflect back to. And they're especially going to try to trigger and smear campaign and insult and belittle those people who have a certain presence about them. Usually this presence is generally going to be one of empathy and one of truth. So the person with the truth, the person who knows what they know, who has experienced what they've experienced, who has an inner sort of smoldering sense of self because they have been scapegoated before, chances are this is the person who is going to be continually the object of the smear campaign. Why does it have to be me? Why does it have to be him? Why does it have to be her? These are questions that get asked again and again and again, and it is because this individual has what is perceived by the narcissist as a experience of weakness, or what the psychopath would call their supply as stupid. Oftentimes the narcissist will, by virtue of their supply, will basically consider those others to be supplies. It's almost like the relationship of rock star to groupie. So just as a rock star might look down, they're just my groupie or whatever, the narcissist will oftentimes look onto their friends or, their supply as less than. Or the psychopath, definitely, the psychopath will oftentimes, who they create their smear campaign against, they will call them stupid. They think that they're stupid to fall for their love bombing. So that's why we see the love bombing, the devaluing, and the discarding, because the narcissist perceives those others with a sense of an aura of empathy, of love, sort of that open heart, that sensitivity. They are very good at reading people. They're very good at sussing people out and sizing up whether this person is going to make me look good or give me a status about me. So oftentimes these people don't connect with in a sort of certain genuine way. They connect in a false way. So when this is going on, it's very painful when you're in the midst of it. It can be very isolating. I want you to understand that this is the false connecting with the false. and that this is something that you don't want to get involved in anyway. It's not something you want to get caught up with anyway. Just allow it to be. Just allow that click, allow that smear campaign. And I'm not stating, for you to allow them to smear your name, ruin your reputation, create a lot of tension at your workplace or in your family. What I am suggesting is that you own your truth and allow them to keep up with what they're doing. Allow them to just, be on their hamster wheel, if you will, and just to create their ongoing high maintenance lifestyle of supply, basically feeding supply. And when you understand that the smear campaign, even though, and what is it? It takes shape basically through through either withdrawal of attention, withdraw of where credit is due. So it's not able to. I think that's the number one most pronounced experience, is that those people are not validated for the qualities that they have, even though they have some very, very special, unique qualities. Oftentimes they're the creative, they're the sensitive, they're the eloquent, the well-spoken, the graceful. Those people who are, again, artistic, who possess these qualities, they can be great chefs. They have these intangible qualities which set them apart really from most people, and which set them apart from a narcissist. So if you feel set apart from a narcissist, I would like to give you a round of applause and give you big kudos, because you are set apart from them. You are different than a narcissist. So what you're feeling, if you're feeling different, you're feeling, separate, you're feeling like you don't fit in, that is okay. You are claiming your inner power. You're basically saying, wow, I possess a different personality type. I am more heart-based. I am empathy-based. I am real-based. This is where I am based. This is what's real and true to me, and I own my truth, and I love my truth. And this is what really energizes me. This is what inspires me. And this is what connects me. And this is where I don't burn out. Realize that the narcissist, a lot of times they burn out. They burn bridges. Oftentimes their relationships don't work out. They marry for convenience. They have affairs on the side. They're not loyal partners. A lot of this is very much due to a mask interacting with a mask, but eventually the mask is going to fall away, and the genuine heart-to-heart is going to emanate. And either the the relationship is going to adapt, flex, and survive, or the relationship is going to not be able to be maintained, because you can't hide your beliefs, your beliefs in self, your belief in life, your belief in family, your belief in health, your belief in being proactive. That which you want to express in your life is eventually going to have to get expressed. And so oftentimes we see, very sadly, this narcissist, it just, ends up exploding, in power rages, and things just get very bitter. The people can become very bitter at life, very cynical. And, you don't have, those people with empathy don't have that same sort of bitterness, and don't allow them to make you bitter. So if you're, in a setting and you feel different, even if it's within the same workplace or in the same family setting, or, whatever the setting where you find yourself, realize that you feel different because you are different, and you have different qualities which you should be proud of presenting. You should be proud of sharing. And if you're around others who can't acknowledge you and validate you and see the value that you have to create, then you have no business being with others who can't be supportive of you. You're in the wrong, you're basically throwing your pearls at swine, so to speak. So you need to furthermore take your healing and your personal growth to a new level where you can surround yourself with others who will validate and honor your leadership and allow you to spread your wings and allow you to be on a strength, live on your strengths and not your weaknesses. So focusing on your strengths and all that you have, because you need to have that acknowledge that seed to be nurtured and plant and given moisture and given oxygen and sunlight in order to blossom and bloom. Because if you're not in an atmosphere that's allowing you to bloom, where you can be your best and contribute and laugh and have fun, you have to be able to have fun. You have to be able to express yourself. You have to be able to live that joy and not be worried, that someone is going to be insulting you or stabbing your back. And if that is the case, and you're with someone who is actively, on a smear campaign, or you've got that tension and, you feel like you want to confront them, you feel like you want to deal with it in face to face with them, then, rather than just like ignoring or letting it be, because if you just let them be, you can just, if you know that this is how they're going to be, and that if you kind of confront them, chances are you're going to get a fighting back. You're going to get a whiplash from them. So, you can, realize that oftentimes their smear campaign is due to a jealousy about you. And they have an envy, once again, which is pathological in nature, which is not normal. So that's why you're getting this sort of backlash and whiplash from them. And you're feeling like you really, you don't want to just like allow them to do this. You feel like you kind of want to confront them. Realize that confronting them oftentimes is not going to get you where you want to go. They're not open. It's not open to discussion. Oftentimes, the person who's doing the smear campaign is not open to a discussion about it. That's why they're engaging in it. So you don't want to encounter them. So that's why we always suggest going no contact, or, not engaging with them, because they're going to perpetuate this. They are just triggered in this way. And you have so much more to offer. You have so much more to give. It's just so important for you to be able to experience this and not feel stifled, stuck, and in a situation where you're going to be scapegoated. This person is going to perpetuate this role. And what's very important is if you allow yourself to be perpetuated in this role, furthermore, you're going to accept this role and then create this role within numerous situation after situation after situation until you process it and say, I'm done with that. And I'm now furthermore going to seek other situations where I'm not solidifying that role in my life, that I'm now opening my perspective, and I'm now seeking other people and environments where I'm not attracting that same hierarchy in my life, where I'm constantly taking the back seat, where I'm taking the second man, I'm the second fiddle. You're now creating almost like a pioneer, if you will, situations. Oftentimes it's a creative quantum leap, where you're really at a leadership level, and I think that is really the solution there, and living in that solution to getting beyond the smear campaign, realizing that you feel different because you are different. And that if you've noticed that you've attracted this role to your life again and again and again, breaking free of that will require you to take a leadership role and a self-empowered role where you, in essence, are at a higher level, and speak and associating with others in a different setting. A different situation where you're given the chance to be equal to, and then you're allowed to flourish, and then there you rise above. And oftentimes you rise above as a group, or you find how you emerge personally, and then you're able to break through those self-limiting roles that have kept you stuck. So it's never too late to do that. It's awareness is the first step. So the smear campaign once again, it's due oftentimes to the individual is threatened. The individual is trying to maintain their facade or their position of superiority. It's kind of like a gang, who's trying to keep superior. They're trying to keep their hold their ground or hold their role, hold their territory. That is very important to them. So confrontation is not the answer. Confrontation is not the solution. The solution is, if you need to clear the air, oftentimes that means going no contact or moving your department. But if you can't, and if you feel like you want to say something to that person, you feel like you just want to clear the air for yourself. And, you can just basically state something very matter of fact, that, acknowledging, that they're not receptive to you is not a good way to go either, because that's perceived as confrontation. And, slighting them is not the way either. So I think the true way to deal with it is just to, basically call it out. Call it out when you see it, and not as a insultory or derogatory manner, but and just to say that, calling it out as you see it, and just to say, what it seems, I'm just, this is, this continues to go on and on and on. I see that every time I state this or every time I do this, you guys just do the shutout method to me. And if you want to continue to shut me out, I guess I don't belong here. That would be solidifying. That would be confrontational. And so it's something that I don't want to say just suck it up, but if you just are able to acknowledge that is how they're going to operate, and that you are going to feel different, so your input is going to be valued, but you're going to have to reflect that in and of yourself. You're going to have to know that you are of value, and you just need to have a sort of silent presence that is okay, and for you to just continue to move freely in that environment and not be intimidated. So if you find that you're literally getting up and moving, you're literally, making other phone calls or doing something different, that you're not, you're putting yourself first, and, and things of this nature, realize that, you need to take those action steps for yourself, and don't allow them to impinge on your expression. But, call it out when you see it, or, but in a non-confrontational way. And before we wrap this video up, I do want to give some examples. So for example, if you are in a work setting or you're in a family setting where, people are just not acknowledging your contribution, I would say that is the main thing that we see, is that oftentimes people don't feel acknowledged for who they are or their contributions, or they're just made to feel less than and not attended to. Realize that your personality, to them, they're trying to minimize you. They're trying to squelch your contribution because it makes them feel less than. So realizing, you can just call it out and just say, my suggestions are coming from what's worked for me. This doesn't work for you. And just keep, when you are able to confront it, utilize it as a way that this is what has worked for you, and this is what's effective. And, in other words, you've already had results from this, and that you're using objective reality and keeping it very unsubjective, very indifferent. So if you must confront them, just bring up that this is what's worked. This is definitely what's worked before. And, I've had results here from this. And then give a little bit, show where you have earned your credit. Show where you have, where you have experienced the results that you're looking for. And just give some validation of yourself. So it's time for you to learn to validate yourself and validate yourself with them. And so not that you're trying to show them up, because they're not ever going to be receptive in the way that you need them to be. But for your own sake, if you can do this, and then solidify it within yourself, because really your goal in the process is to learn the art of self-validation. Because when you do that, you're internalizing that ability to know and to do within yourself. It's a firm belief in self, self-trust, but really that self that you're uniting to and validating is your connect to your higher self, which is your God source. And so when you're doing that, you're connecting directly to the God source and your higher power and your value center. So when you're able to do that, you're really tuning in and you're aligning yourself, your body, mind, and spirit there, which is internal, and it's not based on something outside of yourself. And that's very important, because when you do that, as we mentioned, and you solidify that and you do that again and again and again, you are going to draw to your reality and your experience and in your emotional body. You're going to feel that internal strength build up, and you're going to furthermore deflect those smear campaigns, so they're not going to have any relevance on you. Because if it's based on falsity, the truth is all that matters, and the truth is what sets you free. And when you can live your truth, you're truly living your freedom. And the smear campaign from others, allow them to do what they're going to do. Continue your march of truth, freedom, and your self-expression, and living your life happy and fulfilled furthermore, and not letting it be controlled by a narcissistic or psychopathic abuser who seeks to knock you down through a smear campaign or any insultory, derogatory remarks that have nothing to do with your greatness. Embrace it. Do it. Move forward. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share. Please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.